Well, today is Tuesday, so yesterday was the Labor Day, but we still worked from 8 to 9 to 1. Sorry. So I'm like working every day. The joy of working. And so today, and so yeah, I did after 1 o'clock. I cleaned up the Jeep and went out, did some Ubering, but felt lazy, you know, because I don't know, felt tired for some reason, and just maybe did four rides all together with Lyft and Uber, but made $50, you know. Got some beer and retired to my quarters. I was watching movies and thinking some deep thoughts about my future. But I have an idea for an investment. So I'm still waiting for my loan. But once that is done, I might do something a bit crazy, but which can make me money. We'll see. I'm still thinking. And that idea came from one of my passengers. I picked up a guy in Airdrie, and he told me what he was doing on the, like, he has a job just like me, but then on the side he's doing this thing. It's a secret thing, I cannot tell you guys yet, but he's making some crazy money. And I knew about this before from my friend in the States who told me about this. He says, you should try it. And it's not gonna work, you know, too much money. And I talked to this guy yesterday via, I called him via WhatsApp. I said, are you still doing this side gig? He says, yeah. And he increased his investment, you know, like he's pretty much is like full-time business now for him. It started as a side gig, now is a full-time business. So cannot be, you know, wrong if he's been doing it, I think, for at least 3 years now, because he started before I came to Alberta, and he was telling me, hey, you know, it might work for you. But anyway, so now I'm doing second delivery to the same place, which is why you need a longer bed on a truck. You know, like my first delivery was electric, they call them electric slab articulated boom. Kind of like a cool machine where, you know, it has a basket and you operate from the basket. It can go pretty high. I delivered that one to the police headquarters in Calgary, the same ones where I went to get my fingerprints for Uber when I was getting set up. And the second machine that these basically some contractors, they're working there on one of the buildings, so they needed that slab boom electric lift, and then they needed a small zero turn scissor lift. And that's what I have on my back now. And this thing weighs, we checked weights. My dispatch checked the weights. It's less than 2,000 pounds. And so the slab boom was probably close to like 8 or 9. So technically I could still take them if I had space. But that slab boom, it's pretty big. Like when it's properly loaded, you only have like 1 foot of the deck in the back empty. So there's no room for the small lift. But when I worked at a towing company back in Etobicoke, Toronto, what was it, 2001, 2002, and I had the DZ or Class 3 license, right? So they put me on this same tilt and load. Wow, look at this guy. Clearly on red, not even amber, red. Let's watch it again. So he's lucky this guy didn't hit him. Fast Track Driving Academy. Because, you know, student drivers are not known for super safe driving, because they make mistakes, right? No, but that guy, like, man, you're just thinking because it's a remote road, there's no police. I never do that, you know. That's just nuts. Sometimes I run when it's like an amber light, but you know, if let's say I'm like 1 meter, 3 feet from the intersection and the light turns amber, I'm not gonna brake because I won't have time to stop. I'll stop in the middle of the intersection, right? Either with the truck or with the car. So that's when it's okay. But if you see that you can stop, let's say you are 5 meters or 10 meters, 30 feet from the intersection and turns amber, you have to stop, right? But this guy, man, I see like now, right? Amber. That guy is stopping. I'm stopping. What's wrong with people? But anyway, so yeah, I remember that guy, the owner, it was a Portuguese company. And as it often happens, once there's one guy from one country, they bring everybody else from that country. You ever notice that? Like some companies, they would have lots of, let's say, Korean people all of a sudden, or Vietnamese or Russians, you know, doesn't matter. And so the owner was Portuguese, a very enterprising guy, and he started this towing company, and he had nice contracts with police, you know, like this was like a real towing company. We did move some equipment and machinery, but probably it was like 30% of the business. The rest was just towing cars. And the contract with the police was that we would be called in to tow somebody who's illegally parked, you know. Let's say, you know how you see those signs, will be towed, like there's a picture of a tow truck. If you stop there, let's say 3 to 5, you know, I saw signs like that in downtown Calgary. And so there's a parking guy walking around or driving around, and then he just calls us, you know. Hey, okay, just come to, you know, 5th Street Southwest near, you know, Hilton Hotel. There's a black SUV parked, you know, on the sidewalk or something like that. And so they put me on this tilt and load truck, or rollback as sometimes they call them, right? It was like an old truck. And then he says, hey Sergei, so you like the job? I said, yeah, sure. I said, I enjoy working with equipment, with machinery especially. And he says, I'm thinking of buying a new truck. He says, for you, and it'll be your truck. I'm like, really? Wow. And so this guy buys a brand new Kenworth with a 30-foot bed, you know, the same tilt and load, but 30-foot bed, and I'm pretty sure it had tandem axles in the back. And so we were able to haul some pretty heavy loads. You know, it was nice. If I had that truck now, I would be able to load both the boom and the zero turn. But it's okay, right? So I'm paid by the hour. So driving near the airport, downtown is over there. I see airplane is landing with the lights on. And why I'm going this way, because there was some big slowdown on Deerfoot on Highway 2. So the GPS is sending me this way. Basically, I'm going south, parallel to Highway 2. But there's construction there. I hate that one. I don't know. When are they gonna finish? And then after this, I'm doing two pickups, 2 scissor lifts, Again, one like this, 0 turn, tiny baby machine, and then the other one is a big one, the one that it can go up to 40 or 46 feet. And at first dispatch says you cannot do them together, you'll be over, because this truck I think I can do like 12,000 pounds, that's it, because it has single axle, right? It's a very, oh look at that, that's pretty big plane. I love watching airplanes. What is that? Didn't see the name of the airline. And then he checked the weights on his computer, because they, of course, they have weights for all the machines that we have. And he says, well, the big scissor is 7,500 pounds, and the small one is under 2,000. I said, hey, I can do it. And he says, oh, okay, so yeah, as long as you position them properly so that axles are not overloaded, we should be good, right? I said, yeah. So just can save the company a couple of bucks instead of sending the truck twice. It also saves time. So now I'm near the airport, and the beautiful downtown is seen from here. And by the way, right here, this is where the landing, where the planes are landing. But over here, they have a golf course. It looks like it's owned by the airport, and I guess they lease the land out to the golf guys. Like, interesting, So they play golf with airplanes landing, flying low over their heads. I don't know what the appeal is, but I never played golf in my life. It's a bit chilly today. As you know, my truck has now 2 check engine lights, or CELs, but it's going for service tomorrow. Tomorrow, September 4th, this truck is getting oil change, and the boss agreed to fix the rattling window. And also there's something loose in the telescopic mechanism of the steering column. And also sometimes when I flip my turn signal switch, the windshield wipers come on, because it's the same, like this end of the stalk on the left, that's what activates the wipers, and it's loose a little bit. And a few times actually I flip a, let's say, left turn signal on, and not just windshield wipers, but the washer, the windshield washer starts pouring in the window. And that's the button on the very end here that controls the windshield wash. Okay, I think I have to go east. Yeah, this is McKnight Boulevard. Yeah, that's the golf course place. That's where they park, and then they go play golf. Right under the landing, under the landing aircraft.
Use the right lane to take McKnight Boulevard East ramp. In 400 meters, merge onto McKnight Boulevard Northeast East. Today is gonna be a full day, and
and I checked predictions on Lyft and Uber, and it looked very busy in the morning, you know, like 4 to 8 the demand showed as very high, but 5 and after it's gonna be slow, so I don't think I'm gonna bother today. Like the beginning of the week is usually very slow for taxi work. Oh, what I gotta do is, because my Jeep now has 29,500 kilometers, it's time to do oil change. So I'll just go to one of those quick lube places and do oil change, and so that then maybe Wednesday I'll come out after work and do some Ubering. Man, almost missed my turn. Shoot. Yeah, there's Calgary Police Service, CPS, like a huge complex over there. Yeah, my first the first delivery, they gave me a wrong address. Well, they gave me the correct address, but that's the building inside this complex, and I came from the other side where there's no public access. It's only for police. Like, you need to have that special card, so you cannot enter from that side, like northwest side. So the only entrance is over here on the east side of the complex. This is for the public. Yeah, so this is where I came to get my fingerprints done. I was checking prices yesterday on some of these big SUVs. Remember I said that Uber, if you get one of these big SUVs, they qualify for XL, Comfort, and Premier, not just Uber X. But man, they're so expensive. Like here in Canada, you know, prices on used vehicles, of course, are much higher than in the States. The best price I saw was like 35,000, but that would be like a 10-year-old car with, you know, like 170,000 kilometers on it. Now here you don't want to break any traffic laws because you're inside the police complex. There's cops everywhere here. But I gotta do a U-turn when I unload this thing, because I'll be facing the exit where there's no public allowed, so I have to go back the same way I came. Yeah, it's this building over here. So they gave me the address for that building, and GPS brought me to that special entrance. Yeah, so we're gonna unload somewhere near this building, and they want me to put this scissor lift on the sidewalk. Should be fun. So I dropped off the zero turn, parked in no parking zone. There's nowhere to park there. But I put all my four flashes on. I put on my rooftop, you know, towing lights, flashing lights. They're very pretty, and nobody bothered me. But I unloaded as soon as possible, parked the thing next to that boom I delivered earlier, and just got out of there. And I put in the address for the second for the pickup, like these two pickups I have, right? And then I noticed that there's my phone shows a missed call, and I see who it's from, and it says dispatch. So I call the office, talk to the dispatcher, and he says, have you started, are you on your way to the pickups? I said, actually no, I just dropped off the zero turn and I'm just about to leave the police station. So I said, I'm still empty. I says, oh good, come back here, we have to do another delivery, and then you'll do these two pickups, because I'm only what, 12 kilometers away from the base. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm returning empty to base, and they'll probably give me another scissor lift to deliver something urgent, and then I'll do the two pickups on the way back. So it wants me to take Métis Trail.
In 600 meters, use the left lane to merge onto Métis Trail.
So this job, you know, can be fun. So I'm home every night. I don't make a lot of money, but I don't stay away for 2-3 weeks like I used to when I was over the road trucker. So it can be challenging physically, right, when you do that, especially when you do the scaffolding. But other than that, it's all just loading machines, unloading them, and chaining them down. Oh wow, look at this. That's some kind of a depot for all these light transit cars. I guess that's where they fix them up and do oil changes and stuff. Yeah, I'm thinking about oil changes because this one is due for oil change tomorrow, like I mentioned, right? And my car I'm gonna do today. Okay, so now I'm paying attention. I'm not gonna miss any more turns. So what else is new? Well, talking to a guy about an accordion, because you know I don't want to forget everything I learned in like 3 years. So I'm gonna buy a cheap well, a relatively cheap piano accordion, so I can start practicing again. And like I said, that can be extra income, right? If nothing else works, I'll just go to a park and start busking with the accordion. So yeah, instead of that was a good idea, being a Walmart greeter at 92, but I think busking is better. I think it's more prestigious, you know, than when you're a greeter. But yeah, sometimes it's scary. It's scary to think about old age, you know, especially since I'm alone, right? I don't have any kids or wives or girlfriends. You know, what do you do when you get sick, you know, and you can't work? So basically, health is the most important thing, because without health, even if you have like $50 million in the bank, you cannot enjoy them, right? You cannot travel, you cannot, you know, let's say you're sick, so you're in the hospital, right?
Turn right on 36th Street Northeast.
So that money means nothing. So health is the ultimate asset, in my opinion. Well, I wanted to say that next week we're gonna have some. Come on. Next week we're gonna have some hot weather again. So last week I was freezing my ass off at work because it was raining and it was +9 or 40 F.
36th Street Northeast.
And so I thought the summer was over, but now I checked the forecast and it shows +30. Pretty much the end of this week and the beginning of the next week. It's gonna be real hot.
Continue on 36th Street Northeast for 4 kilometers.
Kind of like what they call it, Indian summer. Even though it's Labor Day, right? Labor Day is gone, so many people think that, many people associate the Labor Day with the end of the summer. Now this area is cool, like this, all these yards in here. I see people park trucks here. I guess they rent out parking to truckers. A wrecking place. Right next to the airport. Oh, yacht for rent? Check this out. Huh. So we'll see what, I'm curious to see what kind of machine they're gonna give me now. So something was, well, actually it can be even a pickup truck delivery, you know? Like the worst case scenario, they will tell me park the Freightliner, jump into the pickup and grab some 10 frames of scaffolding and 10 decks 10 feet long. I hate those, you know. I'm okay with frames, but those decks, man, they're so awkward to carry, and quite often they're dirty, right? Because most people use them for when they do drywall, and when they return them, like even if you give them new ones, nice and clean, because I don't want to get this stuff into my eyes, because you know when you carry it and it's windy, so you really need to wear some eye protection, because it's a lot of this very thin powder on those decks. And so that's why I hate them, because you know you don't want to mess up all your clothes in one day. And I just usually, you know, press them to my side and carry them like in the, you hold them in the middle where there's a balance, right? And you press that point to your side, to your ribs, and they have very sharp edges, these decks, you know. Sometimes it's even easier to carry 2 of them, you know, if they're not dirty, very dirty, I just grab 2, 1 in each hand, and I just carry them like 2 bags, you know. But then if they're dirty, they're gonna touch the legs of your pants. And everything is gonna be dirty, so. But frames are okay, you know, frames, they're the same weight pretty much, but they're so much easier to carry because they're 5x5 and there's many points where you can take them. So anyway, that's the most yeah, I see like this truck, Ford Oh, this is 150. Okay, that's not good. Yeah, we have Ford F350 and Ram 3500. Man, these trucks are such a, even they have like 250,000 kilometers. They're such a joy to drive. It's so much power. Well, this is Airport Trail. I don't know why the GPS didn't send me this way. Today the weather is good, right? Not too hot, not too cold. So right now it's plus 17, but feels hot in the truck. So I started with a light coat and then I had to take it off because it was getting hot inside. Oh, this guy seems to be doing just circles. Remember this guy? Fast Track Driving Academy. Oh, it's probably a different student. Yeah, the guy looks different. Yeah, some people were saying I could do that, but I'd probably shoot him, you know. I would shoot the student because, yeah, I have patience, but probably not as much as needed with these with the rookies, you know. And then every day is the same, right? So it's the same maneuvers, same track. So it's kind of like being a teacher. And I'll be honest with you, I never planned on being a teacher, but then I became one only briefly, just to confirm that I don't like it. It's just too monotonous, you know. It's the same stuff every day. Some people like it. I don't know. I get tired, you know, doing the same stuff day in, day out. Like, yeah, like for example, there's a bus in the front, right? And sometimes I was thinking going and working for this public transit, you know, the wages are good, but what if they put you on the same route, you know, every day? Look, I would jump out of the window, you know. It's very boring. Like with this job, like, okay, my first 2 runs actually were like a city bus, right? Because I went to the same place, but this happens almost never. You know, it's always different. And I run all over Calgary. Sometimes they, a couple of times they send me, you know, on a nice little road trips. Like Okotoks, or, you know, west towards the mountains, or what is this, Chestermere. I really like trips like that, you know. Well, let's say send me like, you know, 50 kilometers, 100 kilometers. Man, this road over here right next to the airport, because it's open field, especially in winter, it's windy and the pavement just gets destroyed. And they fixed it briefly, and now it's very bad again. Well, once I took a guy in a taxi to this Gold's Gym, and you know, he spoke Russian. Yeah, so the thing they gave me to deliver before those 2 pickups was a mini excavator. Mini excavator and tamper, but the small one, 100 pound tamper, you know, the one that compresses the ground. So they're building, there's a new building being built here on Country Hills Boulevard, and it was real easy. The most difficult part was to keep my pink hot hat from falling off, because I don't know why I don't bring my own. I have that nice yellow hot hat I got in Drumheller when I worked on that solar farm at home, and it's much better than, you know, these cheap hot hats we have here, and they're pink and yellow. Like, oh, I mean, no, they're pink. Yellow would be okay. So now I'm still not doing those two ones they gave me at first. I'm still, it looks like there's more urgent pickup in Northwest. I'm getting a big scissor lift, and then they said bring it back, and they'll see what I'm doing after that. So there might be another delivery, or they'll send me to do those two pickups, because those two are in southeast, basically the other side of Calgary. And so they don't want me to go empty, you know, like 50 kilometers, right? So there might be something I can deliver on the way, so why not? So now we're just driving across Country Hills Boulevard over here towards Beddington Trail, and then taking Beddington Trail north. I think it'll send me on 201. So now I'm using pretty much exclusively my own phone for navigation, because the screen is so much bigger than on my service phone. And they started something here, and there's a river here, so all this dirt, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of moisture in the ground, but it looks like some new massive project. I can see downtown from here. This area, I used to do a lot of food delivery over here. You know, DoorDash, Uber Eats. Now with Uber, after I got the access back, I did not activate Uber Eats. So now when I want to do food delivery, I only have DoorDash, and sometimes I put a bag, you know, in the trunk. So if there's no taxi work, if it's quiet with Lyft and Uber X, I can start the DoorDash and see if I can get a something. And the other day I did that because the taxi work was slow, and DoorDash gave me something like, I don't know, $3, like $3.99, and I had to drive like 1 kilometer to the restaurant, and then 3 kilometers to the customer. I mean, like, right away I turned off the app. I ignored that offer and I turned off the app. I said, that's it. I don't like, honestly, after doing taxi, food delivery just feels, you know, stupid, because you waste so much time going in and out, you know, going to the customer, waiting at the restaurant. And honestly, when I was doing food delivery, it makes me feel like I'm a bum, you know, like I have totally zero income, I have zero money, and I don't have money to buy food, and that's why I'm doing like this most obscene kind of like cheap labor job, delivering food. It just makes you feel bad, you know. But then I see some people, you know, they drive fancy cars and they deliver, and then I see a really rotten, rusted out, you know, rust buckets with fallen off mirrors where guys deliver pizza. But you know, sometimes you can make good money. Like I still remember the best run with food was when I picked up 2 orders of coffee, nothing wrong with coffee, at Tim Hortons, the same location. So same location, I picked up 2 orders, and they were going, one was going like 1.5 kilometers and the other one was like 2 kilometers after that, and I was paid $20, you know. So it took me probably, I don't know, half an hour, maybe a bit longer, because I waited at the Tim Hortons for the order. But that's what you want to do, you know, when you don't kill yourself with mileage or kilometers. And by the way, speaking about that loan, so I can use that money for this investment I was talking about. Oh, check this out. Ford Raptor. Nice looking unit. I see a lot of these. They seem to be popular in Calgary. But they're so wide, you know, you can see right away that it's not a regular F-150. Usually has huge tires. And it says, yeah, this guy has a special a Raptor painted on the fenders. Man, the wheels. What size is that? So I bet this truck is not fun to get in and out of, you know, because it's so tall. He does have running boards, but even those are like a foot off the ground. And so yeah, speaking about the loan, so I can do that investment, that secret investment I was talking about, or, and this is probably my last chance, I can take, let's say, 20 grand and buy a used semi-truck. But somebody was telling me that now, well, first off, semi-trucks now are much more expensive than they were when I was buying them. The prices really went up, and also somebody said now banks and financial companies are looking for more down payment, like closer to 20%. So I don't know if that's true or not. So when I was buying that Kenworth, I think it was 235,000 Canadian, of course, and the leasing company requested 20,000. Actually, they wanted more. They wanted like 23, and I didn't have that much, so they took 20. And then the rest, well, they took 10 or 15, I forgot. But basically, yeah, they wanted 10% down, and I did not have that. And so what they did is they took what I had, and then the rest they did accelerated payments. You know, that's what they can allow you to do, because this was, otherwise I wouldn't be able to get that K-Whopper. And I told them, I said, guys, you know, chances are, since you're not flexible on the down payment, I might have to say no. And the dealer started panicking, you know, the Kenworth dealer started panicking, because this is a, you know, heavy truck with big engine, you know, 4 axles. They said, Sergei, please, we won't be able to sell this, because it's like a custom truck. Of course, I would lose my, I think I gave him like 5 grand. to start the build, but this was a custom built truck, you know, and they were saying that it would be almost impossible for them to sell it because the few companies order trucks like that. And so because of that, Packard Financial came up with this scheme where they took what I had, I forgot, 10 or 15 grand I had, and then instead of, let's say, $3,500 a month, for the first 6 months, I think, I paid $5,000. Okay, and so they used that difference towards the kind of like the down payment that I did not have, you know. So they can be flexible when they want, you know. But I'm glad it worked out, because then when I was selling that truck, I made 80 grand, right? On the truck alone. And like I mentioned before, that's what some guys do, you know. Before they retire, they buy a kind of like a less truck, and then they drive it, and then the work pays for the truck, right? You don't pay out of your own pocket except the down payment. So you have to find the down payment. But after that, if you have a steady work, you pay from the proceeds that you are paid by your whoever you work for, you know, like, or your customers, right? And then when it's time to sell, hopefully, you know, you sell it and you get some, your truck is worth more than what you owe, and you get some money out of it. But the only problem is that it's considered a business income, so it's fully taxable. That's what I found out when when I made that crazy money with the truck and the trailer. I'm still surprised I managed to sell that 60 ton. Man, those things they're hard to move, and yet I found a guy who bought everything, right? The Jeep, the 60 ton trailer itself, the 2 axles, and the 1 extra axle, the booster. Man, I got so lucky, you know, otherwise I'd be stuck. But speaking about buying the truck, I have to check on that accident I had in Kentucky, because most people would want 3 years of clean safety record, and it's either October or September, I don't remember. I have to look at my records. So that's when it'll be 3 years, and that's when I can probably get my own insurance again, or I can go work for somebody. Actually, it's one company emailed me the other day saying that they look for owner-operators to do heavy haul into and out of Canada. And I said, hey, I sold my truck and trailer, and they said, what if we can get you financing? But I'm not sure how that works. Like, American company can finance a Canadian driver, but that's, of course, you know, you never want to finance the truck where you work, because that's the oldest scheme in the book, or what they call them, like a lease purchase. Because then these guys, what they do is, because you depend on their work to pay for the truck, right? And what happens is that quite often, if you buy the truck from the company you work for and they finance it, then let's say after 3 or 4 years, when the truck is almost paid for and it's almost yours, they'll start kind of like choking you with the job, you know, like they won't give you enough money, they won't give you enough work, so you don't make any money and you cannot pay for the truck. And then they just say, well, we're sorry, but we gotta repossess it, because of course they're the owner. Usually it's a lease, right? So the name is on the title or ownership, and so they take the truck and they give it to the next sucker, and you lose all the money that you paid for it. So bad idea. Never lease a truck from your employer. Like lease to own. never do a lease to own, because they'll be tempted to do this.
At the light, turn left.
Well, the thing was totally down. They're not supposed to leave it like that, because I'm guessing they worked in underground garage here. I dropped this off about a week ago, I think. And so everything was broken down, because this machine, you can make it like this tall, but they're supposed to build it back, so I had to put it back together. But all it does is, like, you only use pins, so no special tools are required. So this is a big lift. And that's it. All I had to do was write down the hours on the, it's on the bottom there, there's a display. I write them down. Now we have to put 2 chains on and we can go. So after I dropped off that scissor lift, I thought I would finally go get those
north for 2 kilometers.
Those 2 pickups in the south. They said no, those can wait. Please jump into the pickup truck and go grab a towable boom. Towable boom. So I'm gonna install the hitch. But I have the window open. We're gonna accelerate now. I'm gonna show you the power of this diesel. This always puts a smile on my head, on my face. This thing is so powerful. I think this truck, they're so much power. They should come with air horns, you know, almost like a semi truck. The pickup speed, so I was what, like 60 kilometers an hour.
Use the right lane to take exit 271 for Alberta 201 East.
Like in 2 seconds, I'm at 100. But this one is a short run. But they want this.
Use the right lane to take exit 271, then slide right onto the Alberta 201 East ramp.
Yeah, they want this boom. I guess it's somebody wants to rent it or something.
Slide right onto the Alberta 201 East ramp.
Oh man, now
Continue for 1.5 kilometers.
Now we're gonna be stuck behind this guy. What does he have there? Some kind of single axle truck, but super. I think he's carrying something because I see straps. And his exhaust, I'm talking about the truck in the front, and his exhaust pipe It's like 3 inches off the ground in the back. It's like ready to fall
In
off.
600 meters, merge onto Stony Trail Northeast, Alberta 201 East.
It's pretty much my home area over here.
Merge onto Stony Trail Northeast, Alberta 201 East, then take exit 62. Take exit 62, then use the right lane to take the ramp to Métis Trail Northeast. Use the right lane to take the ramp to Métis Trail Northeast, then use the right lane to turn left onto Métis Trail Northeast. At the light, use the right lane to turn left onto Métis Trail Northeast.
Here sometimes there's a cop sitting on that Métis Trail because the speed limit is 70, and then right before this intersection it changes to 60, and cops love that kind of thing. So if somebody was doing
Continue on Métis Trail Northeast for 1 kilometer.
So if somebody was doing, let's say, 85 kilometers over there, which was only 15 kilometers over, now here, if they keep going, as most people do, he'll be 25 kilometers over. And that's already dangerous, you know. 25 to 30, that's what cops like to get you at. Okay, it should be somewhere here.
In 600 meters, turn right onto 144th Avenue Northeast.
I did not deliver this one, so I don't know. Is it a new construction? But I think that's where I'm turning. I'm turning right where that ugly Freightliner is turning.
Turn right onto 144th Avenue Northeast.
Oh, lovely. Gravel road.
Continue on 144th Avenue Northeast for 800 meters.
Ah, I know what it is. It's probably one of these RV places, you know, like there's a bunch of storage spots here, and I think there's an RV dealer. But these roads, this is how you get your windshield cracked. So that's the hitch. I did not have to use this one because that's the safety latch over here, so this one will not even close. And this is the double boom. There's these 4 legs, and that's where the operator sits. Pretty handy little thing. Hydraulic, you know, but there's no engine. It's all electric. And the brand is Follett. So this is the road I have to do probably another 2 kilometers on. Well, I just delivered a small scissor lift again. 0 turn. Man, these are popular today. This is my 3rd one today. It's one of those crazy ones with the joystick, you know. They're so fast, like they go left, right. As soon as you move that joystick a little bit, it's just dangerous. And I drove it on the sidewalk, and I was just walking next to it, and it almost fell off the sidewalk because there was a tilt. All of a sudden, one wheel went into the air, and the whole thing started going sideways. Holy moly. And it's still heavy, you know. you know, what is it, like 1,750 pounds? Imagine if this thing falls on you. You're not gonna be happy. I can guarantee you that. Oh, and the guys, I called the guy, I said, hey, all the numbers, because they told me where to drop it, unit number. And the number they gave me says 150. I look, all the unit numbers have 4 digits. You know, like 1150, 2150. So I called the guy. He's not answering when I was leaving our shop. So I sent him a text message, you know, we're coming. ETA is so and so. And so I show up here and I call him, and he's begging me to wait for him. He says, I'm 10 minutes away.
Turn right onto 109th Avenue Northeast.
And I said, I'm sorry, sir, but you know, I only have usually like 10 minutes for delivery.
300 meters, turn right onto
Okay, which way we're going?
Northeast.
West on Country Hills. I think we can go this way. West, no, it's best to go this way. And so he says, well, I'll be there in 5 minutes. And I said, why do you need me to wait? Like, I'm just gonna drop it on the sidewalk for you, because it's a kind of like a retail store, you know. But I suspected that he wanted me to show him how to use it. Because a lot of people, I'm telling you, that's been my experience with this rental stuff, is that people have no idea how to use it, and they ask you to show them. And actually my dispatcher and my boss, they caution us, because if the guy is totally clueless and then we tell him, hey, do it like this, and then he kills himself, you know, he says, then they can sue somebody, right? Like his relatives or something, or he gets injured. Oh, they told me to do it like this.
Turn right, then turn left.
And so this guy, so I put it on the sidewalk for them.